Absolutely. So my name is Sean Williams. I am the Managing Director of G4S Work. We deliver the Work Programme, which is the government's largest payment by results programme to date. Indeed, sometimes talked of as the largest payment by results programme in the world. G4S deliver that in Kent, Surrey, Sussex, in Manchester, Cheshire and Warrington, and in North Yorkshire and Humberside. And through the operation of that contract, we'll see 250,000 people over the next 6 years, helping about 125,000 people into sustainable work. And we then only get paid if we actually help those people into work and help them remain in those jobs, thus saving the taxpayer money. Undoubtedly. I think that the really important thing for job seekers is to find them the right job for them, a job that they're going to be able to get and that they're going to be able to stay in, enjoy and progress within. When organisations were paid on inputs, on the delivery of training courses, on getting someone a CV, actually that may not have been an appropriate route for that individual to get into employment. So we were making people jump through hoops, but those hoops weren't actually then the right steps in their journey to employment. Payment by results ensures that organisations have very strong incentives to actually get the right journey for that job seeker, to really make an individualised, personalised approach which actually gets that person the job that they want and a job that they can stay in. So I think it's really important for the procurer to clearly identify what it is that they're buying. And I think fortunately in welfare to work, in the sector in which I primarily operate, those outcomes are quite clear. It's not just getting someone a job, but it's getting them a job that they can stay in and progress within over many months and years. Getting someone a job for a day actually is not particularly good for that individual, and it doesn't actually create a benefit saving for the taxpayer. So this is all about sustainable employment, and I think the incentives in Work Programme are very cleverly aligned. We get paid when someone's been in work for an initial payment when someone's been in work for 13 weeks or 26 weeks, but then payments which potentially go on for 2 years, 2.5 years. So simply we have to get someone a job which genuinely transforms their lives, which is a long-term transformation, and which does genuinely get that individual off benefits and into employment and genuinely saves the taxpayer over that period of time. So I think in welfare to work, it clearly is the sustained employment is the right outcome to be measuring. And certainly some of the things that we've seen before measured inputs around distance travelled or sort of these inputs are actually deeply unhelpful. If we're genuinely increasing someone's chances of getting a job, then more people will actually be going into work. Well, I think really the advantages of payment by results aren't for the delivery organisations. The advantages of payment by results are for the users and for the taxpayer. If there was an advantage for G4S, I think it's the advantage to show that we can actually deliver what we say we can deliver, and that for organisations like G4S, which are very, very effective at the delivery and management of public services, that we will win more business over time through that, because we'll be the only ones who can survive in a payment by results environment, whereas organisations which are not effective, which may have won business in the past through being able to write nice tenders or through having the right sort of contacts, actually payment by results puts it into a very results focused world. Either you're delivering, in which case you're getting paid and you can continue, or you're not delivering, in which case you just won't be able to commercially continue. So I think the advantages for an effective organisation like G4S is that payment by results aligns our interests with the interests of the taxpayers, the interests of the service users, and allows effective organisations to grow and demonstrate that we can actually deliver. There are challenges with a payment by results approach. I mean, you have to deliver what you say you'll deliver. I mean, I think that is fundamentally an absolutely brilliant thing, but of course that's more difficult than getting paid whatever it is, however it is that you perform. So I fundamentally agree with it, but of course it's more of a challenge. You absolutely have to do what you say on the tin. We have to perform in a very challenging, for example, jobs environment at the moment, but we still have to be getting lots and lots of people into decent, sustained employment, because if we don't, we don't get paid, and that creates some commercial challenges. I think there are also some challenges around cash flow. If, on a payment by results model, social outcomes often don't happen for a number of months or years. That's obviously particularly true in employment. If we're talking about getting people into jobs that last, we don't know if they've lasted or not until potentially 1, 2, 3 years down the line. So potentially that creates a cash flow challenge, but again, all manageable with the right sort of procurement and the right sort of relationships. Undoubtedly. I think that payment by results, by paying on outcomes rather than outputs or inputs, is undoubtedly the best way to get the best value for money for the taxpayer. It's the best way of holding organisations accountable for delivering what they say they will deliver, and ultimately it's the best way of getting the best result for the taxpayer and for the end user. Payment by results in the work programme will help more long-term unemployed people into sustained jobs than any previous system will have done. It properly aligns the commercial incentives with the incentives of job seekers, with the incentives of the taxpayer and of the government. So I think undoubtedly that approach will be spread as far as it can be, because it is the best way of getting the best value for money.